on the delivery and But in the main, if you are in your goal and see a ball coming near post from a corner, what would your instinct be?
Well, it depends
to make a move to it or to hold still.
It depends on the height and the pace and how many bodies are running across you. Because that ball that Tonali's put in there, it's hard and it's low, and all it needs is the nick. Yeah, it's a great run from Lewis Miley, but again, you see it here. The delivery, the pace, it's coming into an area, the keeper can't get there. He's got to get through 6 or 7 bodies. You'll see the many bodies between Lewis Miley and the goalkeeper. There's no way he can get this ball. So he's got to decide in a split second, don't get me wrong, I've got to stay back in my goal, be set. And you see where the ball goes in here. I think if he's back a couple of yards, Mark, I think he's got a better chance of saving it.
But he gets so high, look at him. And he's getting a slight push as well. Yeah. Brilliant header. Back
to Miley. Given the competition for places then in that Newcastle midfield and the ever evolving role of full-backs over recent years, do you think he is a viable option there if they need him?
Yeah, well, he proved that tonight. He can do it. It wasn't easy for him. I mean, they got Trippier, Livramento. Livramento would be the normal right back, I guess, whatever system you want to play with, a back three or back four. So that's the problem. But in terms of playing in that midfield, you think about Joe Linton, Guimaraes, Tonali. It's very difficult to get in there. So there's the flip side of it. Okay, you're training and working with great players every day, but at his age, he wants to play. He's proved that. He's obviously had an injury last year, but he's a top operator. He's a fantastic player. He's the sort of guy that if you're Eddie Howe, you wouldn't want to lose, but he sooner or later has to think, how am I going to force my way into this team? Joe Linton's only 29, Guimaraes is the captain, Tonali's a wonderful player. They've got a really good midfield, as good as anything in the Premier League. So it's never going to be easy, but he's just got to keep doing what he's doing, banging the door down, scoring goals like that. It makes it an easier conversation to go and see Eddie Howe, that's for sure. Said, I deserve to play.
And again, Tino Livermont's gone off injured tonight as well. So at the weekend against Chelsea, he might have to go, Lewis, I want you to play right back again. We need you. Dan Burns out now injured for a good few weeks. There's numbers are dwindling. But again, when you're a young player, they got a local lad as well. If Eddie Howe says to him on Saturday against Chelsea, I want you to do an odd job at right back again, he'll be right, bring it on. I want to help the team. I want to play as many games as possible and improve that in every position.
And if he rolls into, if he rolls into midfield, he's so capable, he's so comfortable, it will suit him. So the more
which is why you made the O'Reilly comparison.
Yeah, and I think because for sure. But the other reason is Nico's found it hard to displace the midfield that they've got. So Pepper said, "Go and play left back for me. You're quick, you're athletic, you've got great size to you," which they both have similar sort of profile, and it's worked really well for him. But I'm fascinated to see how that one goes. But you said with Livramento, I really like him, big fan. But he's had injuries as well, so he might have a spell playing right back. So good for him.
The other big plus for Newcastle tonight is that Johan Wissa is up and running with the goals as Newcastle's.
Yeah, I think the fans tonight were excited to see him. His first start, of course, paid a big fee for him, and it's took a long time to see him play. He got a bad injury. Had to be treated, of course, get through the operation. But this is like, I think you mentioned half time. It was his first touch. First shot. And how do you like it? It's literally, you could say it's a mistake from Lecompton goal, but at the same time, it couldn't have fell any nicer to Vista. He just runs on to this look. How do you like them in your first game at home? At St James's Park. Have some of that. Brilliant start for him. And then again, he's up and running. We see strikers in the past who've struggled to score, and it's just it's a nice, easy finish to get him off and running.
Third touch, first shot. Actually, you shouldn't underestimate the first time cross there from Jacob Murphy.
He is a great crosser of the ball. So good at it. And it shows you the value, because we see so many wingers now that play, say, right-footed wingers play on the left. By having a right-footed right winger, it's a dream for forwards, because it always comes in first time. They don't get it, stop it, take it back, and then cut it, and then play it the other way with their left foot. That ball's coming in with pace and quality, and that's what he does so well.
It's interesting that Slot said a few weeks ago that Isak's struggling because we don't have Murphy. But I think he's getting that, as you rightly said. It's quite refreshing. The striker has to make one run, because he knows as soon as Murphy's wide and gets the space, the ball's coming in the box.
He doesn't hang about.
Wissa overall, we've got some clips of what he did in the game. I mean, it's not an amazing show reel, but it shows what he will bring to Newcastle, which is slightly different to not slightly different, is different to what they have with Ultimo.
Yeah, but he can play in the wide areas as well. When he was at Brentford, when he was playing up front with Ivan Toney, he was a striker. He played in the wide areas with Mbeumo. Mentality's been a big word at Newcastle this last few days. That, for me, is what he's got. Brilliant mentality without the ball, and that comes from where he was at Brentford. He'd been brought up in everything's about the working, everything's about the team. Yes, he gets his goal. Look, it's not a show reel that he's going to be looking at time and time again, but he'll be delighted with that. You know, that's a big moment for him. Good for the club, good for Eddie Howe, because it just takes the pressure, not off Eddie Howe, he's under no pressure whatsoever, but I'm just saying after that result the weekend, it's a massive one for them because they love this competition and they'll believe they've got a great chance of winning it again.
Let's hear from him. Newcastle manager is with Johnny Phillips.
Eddie, great way to win a game, and given some challenging circumstances, you must be very proud.
Yeah, really pleased with the players. That was a tough game. It was always going to be today. We're back on home soil. I thought we controlled the game. Fulham are a good team. They had their moments, but I thought we deserved to win.
And Lewis Miley getting the winner, playing in a position not necessarily unfamiliar to him, but not his first choice position. That was a great effort, wasn't it?
A brilliant performance from a really talented young player. I think he hasn't played right back a lot, and he had to take on a lot of information this morning, but he did really, really well and capped off with the goal. Really, it was a great finish from him.
Yeah, do you feel he's really growing into this squad now?
Yeah, I think he's here on merit. I mean, that's an obvious statement, but I think he believes he's more than good enough to play at this level and not just play but excel, and I think we're seeing that now. I think he's taking his game to another level, and nights like tonight will only help him.
And for Johan Wissa to get off the mark, that can only be a good thing as well.
Really positive night in lots of different ways. I mean, Johan getting his goal is a brilliant moment for him, especially so early in the game, and he took it superbly. He'll only get better for the match minutes. Young Alex Murphy coming on the pitch and doing really well. I'm delighted for him. So yeah, delighted for all the players.
Do you feel perhaps in the second half, when it might have looked as if it was meandering towards a draw, that the substitutions you were able to make and get on the front foot made the difference?
Yeah, I think Sandro's drive from midfield was key, and seeing the two Anthony's come on made a difference for us as well. We've got quality players. I just felt we controlled the game really well because they're a dangerous transition team. I thought we dealt with that situation superbly.
You're challenging on so many fronts in different competitions, but to get to the semi-finals of this once more, given what it means to the club as well, that's important, isn't it?
Well, I think it was important to bounce back from Sunday. I think it was important that we came back in a positive fashion, and of course we want to be competitive, we want to win trophies, and this is one that we had such a great experience with last year. We're keen to do it again, but we know with the teams left in, it's not going to be easy.
When you talk about being competitive, you feel you got that from your players tonight, even though you weren't full strength?
Oh yeah, I can see the will to win and drive to win was there. We gave everything, even in moments that were difficult for us. It's all part of the game, and the challenge is to grow and improve, and I think there was positive signs that we're on the road to doing it.
If there was one negative, it was another injury to a defender. I know it's early, but any news on Tino Livramento?
No, but it doesn't look good. The fact that he came off is a worrying sign, so we're so stretched in that area. That would be a huge blow.
Appreciate your time, Eddie.
Thank you.
Look at that area in just a moment, but you can see from him, can't you, how big it was tonight?
Yeah, massive. You know, he's not that Jamie's right, he's not under any pressure, but at the same time it'll hurt Eddie Howe as much as any Newcastle fan what happened at the weekend against Sunderland. You could see that after the game, even in his press conference yesterday, he was still upset about what happened because he felt his team and himself let everyone down, and that's probably natural.
His toughest time since taking over as Newcastle.
Yeah, because this season's been a little bit inconsistent, if I'm being honest. One good result, a poor result. They never seem to go on a run of games where they've been steady, and like last season. And Newcastle ambitions now to get back in the Champions League nearly every season. You know, the PSR and the financial fair play. That's where they need to be to keep improving, to keep growing. And if you look at their position in the Premier League now, they're a long way off that. So it's a lot of catching up to do. He mentioned injuries at the back now, which is a concern as well.
Yeah, he's never been able to really get his best team out either, has he? You know, you look at the start of your sign, you sign Vissa and you know, you get Voltamada. You know, Gordon had injuries or he got sent off as well, missed 3 games. Dan Burn obviously being out now is so important because he's so versatile. He can play centre-back and play left-back. Lewis Hall's out, Livramento out. So in terms of back 4, what you're trying to pick back 3, it makes it very difficult. So players are going to have to really sort of step up now. And sometimes you're going to be asked to play in positions that are a bit foreign to you, but you know that's part of it, you know.
And the problem here is, you know, you look at the defensive injuries, the ones that would come in as reliable backups, really, for, you know, a Livramento or a Dan Burn or a centre half. There, you know, Lascelles is out, Kraft is out, Trippier's out. It's not just a Burn or a Botman or a Livramento. it's the ones coming in behind as well who are out.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's so many games as well. Obviously, the Sunderland game was a couple of days ago, and a couple of more days now. Chelsea's at 12:30 on Saturday. Eddie mentioned his interview there. I had to give Lewis Miley so much information this morning, so they must have been on the training ground or else in a video meeting for a long period this morning. Probably haven't trained much since the Sunderland game, getting these messages across. And again, he's going to have to reshuffle his cards again at the weekend. Murphy came off the bench, young Irish defender as well. He's in and around the squad now as well. So it's, I think it's about wrapping them up for Saturday. They won't do much training between now and Saturday. It's just getting them messages. And I mean, Lewis Miley was involved in the goal that Fulham scored tonight as well. We feel maybe Jacob Murphy could have helped them out a bit more, perhaps, but again, by playing that position and learning from maybe, it wasn't a mistake from Lewis Miley, but just maybe getting a bit more support from Murphy in front as well will help, making demands off people in front of you as well.
I wonder whether Marco Silva feels like it's been a missed opportunity this evening. He is with Johnny.
Marco, that's a really tough way to lose a game, given some testing circumstances with players unavailable as well. Do you feel you perhaps deserved a bit more?
Of course, we have to praise the commitment, the attitude, and the work ethic from the players. Definitely, they're inside. Difficult when you lose the way you lost the game is always very difficult. All the hard work and all that stuff takes more time out a bit to recover. But it's football, what it is. That moment you have to be probably even stronger than before. Performance-wise, first half better than the second. Second was more difficult for us to set our game and to play in the way that we like to play. First half we did it some good moments, the goal and some other good moments that we had. Unfortunately for us, after, as you mentioned, as the game going, of course, probably was a moment for us to react in a different way. If you can react. Sometimes it's not possible, but the reaction from and the work ethic again and the attitude from the players was there. Very tough for us to lose in the way you lost.
You had some very good moments in that first half and had to overcome a goal against the run of play, but the players showed a lot of character.
Yes, definitely. The reaction was very good. It's very difficult if you come here and consider an early goal, a little bit completely unlucky goal from ourselves, of course. In that moment, Benjamin tried to cut the cross and the ball touching in Vis and goes inside. But the reaction was very good goal from ourselves. We had a great moment with probably with Kevin to do better inside the box already. That shot and some good moments from us. Second half, first half clear in our way. Second half was more difficult for us. Start to come a little bit more fatigue from ourselves. It's part of the game, and was a moment for us probably to set more the game, to keep more the possession, because it's completely different if you can do it. Even so, not many chances for them. That is clear. I think we did control a bit more deeper than how we would like to be, but we did control well them, but it was not enough. Second half we didn't create enough, but even so, the way we lost is very tough.
If there was a big difference in the second half between the two teams, was it maybe the choices from the bench that you didn't have and that Eddie Howe had?
You can see, I think, if you look for the paper, of course, we love all our boys and all that stuff, and they have been working very hard in very difficult circumstances. This season is being very tough for us, all the absences and all that stuff in a very short squad from ourselves, and of course, they were able to put probably 5 players inside altogether. People cost them 300 million, probably 200 million. That is the difference sometimes in this type of moments. But at least if you have more solutions, it's going to be different. But it's not going to be excuse. Is what it is. I think I don't need to say everybody is seeing what's happened. But again, it's not going to be an excuse for us. We come here, we tried until the last minute to be. We wanted really to be in the semi-finals. Very tough place to come, and the players, they work very hard. They were brave until the last minutes of the game. Now we have to rest them because we have another big game on Monday.
Yes, when you talk about that effort until the very last minute of the game, you're going to need the character and strength of your squad now, even though it is depleted, to move forward and recover from this.
Yes, definitely. For example, tonight they were able to refresh almost all the front line to start the game in a completely different way. If you see the way they started the game, that 5 players, I think they were completely different than the 5 players that they started, the 3 up front and the 2 more offensive midfields, if I can say. Okay, it is what it is. It's completely different realities, and if is what I'm talking always about, the progress. If you want to progress, if you want to be able to be in these stages and to be more competitive, of course, is something, is a step that you have to give. About ourselves, yes, definitely. Now the moment to recover the players, to rest them, because it's a game that you need to be as fresh as you can be again on Monday, because it's going to be another big game for us.
Appreciate your time,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, we talked about it pre-match, didn't we? But he is really frustrated with the size of his squad.
Yeah, and he'll want some reinforcements in January. That's no doubt. You know, Chukwueze and Iwobi, we've gone away with AFCON, so it makes it hard. And you're trying to make subs, bring on people that are going to make a difference. I still think he'll be kicking himself, even though they didn't have, like you said, the players that can make a difference. I think if they'd have gone ahead in this game, I think they'd have won it, because I think how fragile Newcastle were, and maybe even the crowd, and working on that anxiety that I think we both spoke about before the game. They never got the opportunity to get the lead. And he's probably thinking with 3 or 4 minutes to go, we get the penalty, he's got a great chance of getting through to the next round. So he'll be disappointed. I think it was still a big opportunity missed, because Newcastle weren't at their best. But they've got to go again. They've got to keep picking themselves up, make sure they don't get involved in the relegation fight, and get some points on the board.
We'll take a look at the Fulham goal just to tidy everything up, where there were questions about certain Newcastle players and their position or concentration.
Yeah.
It's a good goal from the Fulham point of view.
Yeah, it's a good goal from a Fulham point of view. Eddie won't be happy with the defensive side. You know, we see Anderson, as Jamie rightly says at half-time, has got a brilliant right foot and does that a lot. We feel Murphy could have maybe helped young Lewis Miley out in that right-back position, but take nothing away from Lucas. You see the spaces in here. I think it's Ramsey jumps, and then I think Bruno Guimaraes should probably come back, or at least one of them, Willock. And neither of them, they're quite offensive midfielders, Willock and Guimaraes, and none of them has that defensive mind of danger, and he's got a free run into the box, and Sharon Co, the centre half, looking around who's got the cover. It's a nice goal from Fulham, but again, you know, Chelsea up at the weekend, Newcastle will have to tighten that up. You know, you mentioned Tonali, I'm sure he'll come back into the team as well for the weekend.
Okay, we know 3 of our 4 semi-finalists, 1 tie to be played next week, but coming next we will find out the semi-final lineup. The draw with Shay and Jamie is on the way.